Hello, what's up guys? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're all safe and sound. Coach Cyril here, Country Spirit CrossFit, Strong Together Fitness, Chelsea, Michigan. And I wanted to do a recording of some of my memories from the last almost 7 years. We've been doing this for almost 7 years. This March will be our 7-year anniversary in the health and fitness business, helping people live happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. And it has been extremely fulfilling. And I just wanted to record some of my memories of some of the most memorable things that I've experienced over that last 7 years. So I don't forget them, and so that we don't forget them, and so that, because I'm getting old, the memory isn't as good as it used to be, and I don't want to forget these stories because I think they're very important and good. Leslie and I were out to dinner last night, and a woman, right as we sat down, a woman came up to our table and said, "I just want to let you know that I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you've done for my daughter. She's got great confidence now. She's feeling good. She has great energy. She can't stop talking about what we do here." And she was the mom of one of our athletes. And this happens quite frequently, as a matter of fact, which just touches my heart, and that's why we do this. You know, to be able to, if that's the only person I can help be better, then I'm satisfied. You know, if I can help one person be better by something that I love, which is health and fitness, strength and conditioning, nutrition, then I'm all good with that. I'm satisfied, and that's what I think life is all about, is being able to help people with something that you're good at. So I wanted to kind of tell some stories of stuff that's happened, that some funny stories over the years that I can't get out of my memory. I got a list here, that's why I keep looking down. First one that comes to mind is we were at the old facility, and it was the middle of winter, and we had a packed class, and the windows were all steamed up, I remember, and one class was getting finished and the next class was coming in, and Coach Larry, I don't even know if he was a coach yet, but he was coming in for the Olympic lifting class, I believe, and he starts to change, and I was finishing up coaching the earlier class, and I noticed that he was taking his pants off, and I'm like, wow, Larry's must be really comfortable, because those look like underwear. They were shorts, so they could have been like under workout shorts, but I thought he was just, comfortable with our people, and turns out he didn't know he forgot shorts under his pants and didn't have workout shorts under there, and they were his underwear. So I'm like, "Larry, did you forget something?" And he looks down, and he's like in the middle of his underwear, standing in front of like 20 or 30 people. It was awesome. So that's a funny story. Second story is during the CrossFit Open back at the old facility. It was, I don't know what year it was, but we had 2 classes, and actually we had 3 classes on Saturday back in the day, and I had coached the first class, and I wanted to get my open workout in and have someone judge me that day, and no one was going to be around, so one of our other coaches, Mark Baker, was there, and he said he could judge me, so I was going to do it between classes, and there was like 15 minutes between classes, and it was a shorter workout, so I'm like, I can just do it between classes and it'll be fine. What a stupid decision that was, because it was like rowing and heavy thrusters, like my 2 least favorite things. Thrusters are I just can't stand them, and they always crush me, and it was like higher reps too, so and I wasn't feeling that great. I think I had too many pops the night before on top of that, and so I start the workout, and it went bad really fast, and I'm just freaking struggling. Mark Baker screaming at me, I just want to stop. I don't want to continue. I just want to stop. It was incredibly painful. I started getting that tunnel vision. It was so bad. And the box was filling up with a new class coming in. And I'm like, oh, good. I'm just going to stop because I don't want to be rude and make the class wait for me finishing this damn workout that I'm almost dying in. And good old Coach Ken, being the giver that he is, starts warming the class up. So there went that idea. So he starts warming the class up, so I can't stop my workout now. Everyone's watching me. I'm trying to set an example, and I'm just absolutely dying. I feel like I'm going to die. And I noticed one of our newer athletes had come in, and people were doing their the open workout. I think we were doing it in class that day. And one of our newer athletes had come in and he brought his kids. And then I finished the workout and I was lying there on the ground in front of the entire class, barely catching my breath. Good old Coach Ken was leading the warm-up. And I'm laying there in front of class. And I think the next day or whatnot, I asked the athlete that had come in, and then when I was done and started to coach class, I didn't see him anymore. He wasn't there. And I said, Jason, what happened? You were in class, weren't you? You were going to do the open workout, and you brought your kids, and what happened? He's like, oh, yeah, I was going to do it, and my kids were there, and they looked at me, and they said, Dad, they were looking at me, dying, and they looked at Jason. Jason's kids looked at him and said, Daddy, you're not going to do what that guy's doing, are you? And so he didn't want to scare his kids like I did, so he left and didn't do the open workout. So that was fun. The next most memorable story that's just a bizarre story in my mind, but I'll never forget it. I'm coaching the noon class. We had a noon class back in the day, right in the middle of the day, and we had a new college-age younger woman who was trying us out and to see if she wanted to join as a member. And then we had another gentleman who was a newer member who was a National Guard's medic in the Iraq War and was actually at the Abu Ghraib prison, the infamous Abu Ghraib prison. He was a medic there. And he was a rather interesting guy. You could tell there was probably some PTSD going on there, but he was funny, and he was getting a great benefit out of our program. And so I'm coaching him, and as soon as I started coaching him, I could tell something just wasn't right with him. Something, I don't know this for a fact, but it was almost like he had too much to smoke or something like that. But he wasn't getting anything. He was getting really frustrated, and I was trying to explain things to him, and he was like making mistakes. He could barely hold the barbell, and I'm like, dude, you need to sit down, chill out, relax. The workout was easier than that part, and it had some running in it, so I thought that'd clear his mind. So I had him just relax, and then we started the workout. Which the first thing in the workout was a run. We would run down Lima Center Road, which is a nice country dirt road that we would run down. And so he and the young lady take off on the run, and there was a fuel oil truck coming towards me and towards them, and there was a pickup truck heading the opposite direction, and he had to wait because of the runners and because of the fuel oil truck that was a large vehicle, he was waiting for it to go by. And then he started inching up, and he couldn't move over, and the gentleman in the class is running straight towards me, like almost right in the middle of the road, and I'm like, move over. And he just keeps running straight to me, staying in the middle of the road. And the pickup truck is sitting there, it kind of doesn't know what to do, and it can't move over, and because he couldn't see the the runner couldn't see the fuel truck that the pickup truck was waiting for that was behind them. So I'm like, we had tons of grass. They could have run on he could have easily gone and ran on the grass, but he stayed in the road. And I'm like, get over. And he puts his shoulder down and runs right into the mirror of the pickup and smashes the guy's mirror off. And I looked and my mind was like one of those moments where your mind just can't process something because it's so weird and out of place. And I'm like, did he just do what I think he did? And he did. He busted the pickup truck mirror off with his shoulder, and he just kept running. And I'm like, dude, when he got to me, why did you do that? He's like, he wouldn't move over. He could have moved over. I'm like, you needed to move over, man. He couldn't move over. And he's just like ranting. I'm like, I can't believe you did that. And then I see the pickup truck backing up, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go, And it was a guy who lived on the road and his son, and he's like, what are you doing? Why'd you do that? And they start arguing, and the guy in the pickup truck's like, he probably could tell something was not right with this gentleman. And he got in the pickup truck. It's like, fine, I'm out of here. This is crazy. And I apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what got into him. And then the guy who broke the guy's mirror off, our member, was like, no, you're not leaving. I'm filing a police report. He could have gotten away and scot-free, and he was the instigator. He wanted to stay, and the guy's like, fine. And they're arguing. Thank God my friend Justin shows up, who was a Marine. And I went back in, and I'm like, I can't take this. The young lady was in there by herself trying to finish the workout. And I'm like, you guys are on your own. They called the police, which took like an hour to get there because it was the state police, and it wasn't really like an emergency. And my friend Justin, who's one of these guys that literally he just has a knack for coming by at the best time when you need him. And he just happened to pop in, and he's like, hey man, what's going on out there? And I'm like, you won't believe it, man. This guy broke this neighbor's mirror off, and he's an ex-vet. And Justin goes, yeah, I could sense that. And he's like, you want me to go talk to him? I'm like, please, do whatever you can do, man. So he's out there and talking to him, waiting for the police, talks him down, got him real calm. By the time the police came, they were all friendly and everything was fine, and it ended up dissipating and nothing happened from it. So that was a weird one. One of our coaches, it was one of our first trials back when we first opened, and they came in and they were a referral from another member to try it, and they were like a runner into exercising, and the first thing she said to me was, I'm just to let you know, I'm a germaphobe and I'm a vegetarian. I'm like, well, what are your goals? Well, I want to build bulk up and build some muscle. I'm like, okay, well, that's going to be challenging as a vegetarian, but we will give it our best shot. And as far as the germ thing, you guys don't know. I mean, we tried to keep it as clean as we could, obviously, but our first facility on Lima Center and Jackson Road, it was raw. It was like bare cinder blocks, particle board ceiling, off a dirt road, so there was constantly dust and dirt coming in there. So I thought there's no way she's going to ever even come back. So, but now she's been here almost at least 6 years, going on 7 years. So boy, was I wrong about that one. And she's built a tremendous amount of muscle. If you would have seen her 6 years ago, and you see her now, it's absolutely amazing the amount of definition, tone, and muscle that she's built. When we moved to this new place, we used to have these our sayings, the back of our shirt. I don't know if you can see that. Our tagline is making people harder to kill. And we used to have those signs in the windows, which thankfully someone said, hey, that looks kind of junky, so I got rid of them, which is a good idea. But we had them, and one day I'm in here working by myself in the middle of the day, and this elderly lady walks in, and she says to me, I just want to know what your making people harder to kill sign in the window says. And this is like before COVID, before, people are already getting weird even before this. And I said, well, it means that by making people healthier through fitness and nutrition and mindset, and making them more resilient by having them do difficult things that they didn't think they could do, and having them have stronger minds because of that, they're less likely to get disease, get sick, get injured, or, God forbid, come out of the wrong side of any kind of an altercation, because they're weak, and now they're not weak. And I thought that was a good explanation. I mean, to me, that's what it does mean. And she looks at me and she says, well, I think it's awful, and I find it distasteful. And I was like, what? Like, here again, I'm like, what could you possibly find distasteful about being harder to kill? What, you want to be easier to kill? That's what the majority of our society's easier to kill, because they're so freaking lazy and want to pill for everything. How could you find, I didn't say this to her, I said, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I don't understand how you could find anything wrong with that. And she looks at me and she goes, I bet you voted for Trump, didn't you? And I'm like, okay, you need to leave, please. You have something wrong, and I don't want you in my business. So that was fun. Another time that I always remember is during one of the opens, Coach Ken was judging Coach Larry. And it was a really hard workout, and Coach Ken kept giving Coach Larry the time, 4 minutes left, 2 minutes left, and Coach Larry got so pissed at him. He didn't want to hear the time. He didn't want to know how much time he had left. And he's like, God damn it, Ken, shut the F up. I don't want to hear the time. And I thought they were going to get in a fist fight. So that was rather interesting. Things always get kind of interesting during the open. One time, because of car problems and the weather, I think my car wasn't functioning. I had to drive my tractor to the gym, to get to the gym. So that was fun. One time I drove to the gym and came back out to get something out of my car and noticed that one of our chickens was still on top of the roof of my truck. And then it went across the street. And then months later, this woman comes in and joins up, and she lived across the street. And turns out we went to the same elementary school in Detroit, if that's not weird. And she says, yeah, I have one of your chickens. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I saw your posts on the social media of your chicken on top, and it was over at my house, and I could hear it. It was a rooster. I could hear it sounding off every day. And she had chickens, I guess, and it went right over there. And so she adopted our chicken, and it lived happily ever after. So those are just some of the main stories that I always remember. I hope you found those interesting. Really, and there's so many more that I just can't remember, but there's hundreds. People getting their first, middle-aged people getting their first, or even young people, getting their first box jump, doing something difficult that they didn't think they would ever do at this age. I see that day in and day out in this business and over the last almost 7 years, and it's just super fulfilling, and I'm just super grateful that I've had the opportunity to help people do that and to make them feel good about themselves because they did something in a safe environment that was hard that they never thought they could do. Even if it's a 6-inch box jump, your mind is telling you, don't do it. You're scared shitless. And I get that, and it's awesome. And then you do it, and you do it again, and you keep doing it, and you break through that barrier. And that's what this is all about. And having, moms come up to you in restaurants thanking you for what you've done for their kids. It doesn't get any better than that. Thanks.